psychic insights where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold. We read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Robin Richardson. I got some new glasses. I'm not sure if I like them, but I'm going to use them. Anyway, today I want to walk you through something that's been unfolding in plain sight, but rarely discussed in deeper ways. And this isn't just about a court case. It's about obsession and control and power and the shadow work that most people will do anything to avoid. And we're going to talk today about our friend Laura Owens and why, even while she's facing 7 felony charges, she continues to harass and legally pursue Mike Marraccini, a man who's moved on, lives in another state, and actually wants absolutely nothing to do with her. But to truly understand why she's doing this, we need to go behind the headlines and look at something deeper, her spiritual blueprint. And if you've been with me, we take a look at the psychic stuff. We take a look at the spiritual stuff. And one of the things that I've been kind of interested in is the gene keys. Look at this freaking book, right? Oh my goodness. This tells you a lot. The gene keys are a spiritual and psychological system developed by Richard Rudd, and they're based on the I Ching, the astrology, and the human design. And they actually just map out the energetic codes you carry in this lifetime, your shadows, your gifts, and your potential. As you can see, this is mine. I've been learning a lot about me, and it seems to be pretty on point. So, each person has a set of gene keys based on their birth information, and since we know Laura's birth information, but not necessarily her time, I think it gives us kind of an accurate picture, even though we don't know the birth time. And if somebody has her birth time, shoot it over to me, because then we'll be more accurate. So each person has a set of gene keys that's based on their birth information, and each key operates on 3 levels. And one is the shadow, which is your unhealed wounds. The next one is the gift, your potential when you integrate those wounds, and the city, which is your divine essence when fully developed and embodied. Now, I'm not a gene key expert, but I've worked with them a little bit to see the patterns, and Laura's chart is telling. So let's take a look at what her gene keys reveal and how they explain the obsessive behavior we're seeing in her. Gene key 30, and that is called the shadow of desire. It's her radiance key, and this is a big one. Gene key 30 governs her emotional body, her vitality, her drive, and how she processes life. The shadow of this key is desire, but not just healthy desire, unquenchable. Maybe insatiable is a better word. Obsessive, manipulative craving. In Laura's case, it shows up as chasing attention at all costs. And girl, we are seeing the all costs part. I had to ask these questions because who in their right mind, with facing 7 felony charges would even bother to deal with a past lover and continuing to drag him. Well, this woman this particular gene key, she's creating dramatic situations to stay emotionally stimulated. She needs to feel significant, even if it's through conflict or control. Mike Marraccini, who's clearly moved on in his life, represents an emotional cord she can't cut, because in her wounded state, she'd rather feel powerful through legal harassment than powerless through silence. Now, Gene Key 23, this is the complexity, this is her life's work. And the shadow here is complexity, and it's overcomplicating reality, manipulating language, and creating confusion. And this plays out in her filing restraining orders filled with contradictions. And if you want to see her actual filing, go to Neal, go to Laura Neidigh's channel. I'm sure there's a few others. It's totally yikes. So she creates false stories to maintain that victim status. She projects chaos onto others so she can avoid her own accountability. She's legally targeting Mike because it allows her to control the narrative, and in her mind, that's safer than admitting that she's wrong. Key 43 is deafness, and this is her evolution key. This is why she can't stop. The shadow key in 43 is deafness, being completely closed off to her intuitive wisdom, the truth, or the reality other people are experiencing. Basically, she's in her own la-la land. She's in her own reality. And even now, with facing 7 felony charges, she seems deaf to the legal, emotional, and spiritual consequences of her actions. This key often shows up in people who are highly intelligent but use their mental gifts to outsmart truth rather than to embody it. Now, we see her Venus sequence, and it's called the shadow of struggle, love as control. And this is the path that governs love and relationships. And Laura carries the shadow struggle. This means she unconsciously seeks love through conflict. She may feel most alive in emotional warfare. She may confuse attention with intimacy. And when a partner walks away, she doesn't process it, she punishes it. Girl, do what the rest of us do. Put, he's not into you, he's not into me, or whatever, on repeat, and have some Ben and Jerry's for company. I'm serious. Girl. Michael Marraccini is no longer a partner, but in her psyche, he's still a symbol of rejection, loss, and emotional abandonment. Her wounded ego is still trying to win that war, even several years later. So why is this happening now, even with felonies looming? So why would she continue this harassment now when she's facing 7 felony charges of fraud, perjury, forgery? This is why I wanted to do this spiritual sort of inquiry, because this woman is trapped in the shadow frequency. And in that space, chaos becomes currency. She keeps the spotlight on Michael to distract from her own unraveling. She continues to file restraining orders, not for safety, but for control. And spiritually speaking, the soul will scream when you ignore its whispers for too long. She's being asked to face her deepest truths right now, but instead she's creating noise because silence would be too confronting. Well, here are my final thoughts. This episode isn't about guilt or innocence. It's about what happens when we don't do the inner work, when we let shadow runs the show, when truth becomes too uncomfortable to face. So we rewrite it, legally, emotionally, and energetically. Laura Owens has the potential to become someone else, someone grounded in simplicity, devotion, and emotional integrity. But until she's willing to confront her own patterns, she will continue to project pain onto people who simply want peace. And Mike Marraccini is one of them. And if this spoke to you, drop a comment below. Have you ever dealt with someone who's used emotional manipulation or legal tactics to stay connected even when the relationship is over? Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll be covering more of the upcoming trial in 2026. And I'll continue to look at this case through both legal and spiritual lenses. And if you're navigating a situation like this, where someone else's story is distorting your truth, I've got tools for you at yourpsychicgirlfriend.com. So stay safe, stay grounded, and I'll see you, as always, in the next one. And thank you for supporting my work. And remember to support Dave Neal's work and Laura Neidigh, and lots of others. And I will link their sites in the description.